Morning, guys. How are you? Good? Yeah, good. I mean, I assume you're telling me you're good. I assume you're telling me you're fine and lying, or telling me you're awful and there's nothing I can do about it. But those are the hurdles we have in our lives. So today, a little different. Episode 2 of Yellingatconcrete podcast. I've got a guest coming on. Guest is Dan Willcocks. He's a lovely man, young writer, emerging writer. He's very good. I suggest you check it out. I'm sure we'll be plugging it within a few moments. But he's coming on, and we're going to chat about writing and the catharsis of writing and how we both create and what that means and how the world is going within the writing world. Because it's a big subject. It's a large subject, and I've been doing a lot of writing. I've been doing writing excessively, actually, at the minute. I've found it a great way to just kind of vent emotion, which I've never really done before. Before, I usually draw or I usually sketch. I take photographs, that kind of thing. But writing in terms of fiction and poetry, that kind of thing, is something which I haven't done since I was in my senior school years. I was going to say my senior years, but I'm not quite there yet. I know I look like I'm 80 years old and have the stylistic tendencies of a hobo, but up to that point, that's about the only similarity. I go to the bathroom regularly, and that is just one of the things which we will have to deal with, and one of the things I'll have to keep on top of. So until that is resolved, here is my interview with Dan Willcocks. I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you get something out of it. Until then, I'll talk to you guys later. You ready?
Yeah, shoot.
Good to go. Cool. So, obviously, hello to everyone, and I've got a guest with me today, and that is Dan Willcocks.
Hello.
Hello, Dan. Can you tell us a little bit about who you are, where you come from, what you do?
Yeah, sure. So I am Daniel Willcocks. I am one of the lead authors of a publishing company called Hawk & Cleaver, an independent publishing company. I have been writing for about two and a half, I'd say about 2 years, sort of taking it seriously, and write horror stories. I've got a novel out to my name now. I'm the regular writer for a podcast called The Other Stories, which tells 15-minute fiction every Monday, and is doing pretty well in the iTunes stores. And I'm also one of the lead presenters on a podcast called The Story Studio, where we talk to basically anybody who's an independent creator and how they work their process, things that they're doing.
That's just really intimidating now. This is like it's like episode 2 of this podcast.
No, it's cool. It's to be fair, I've never been on the other side of the microphone, so it's a whole new experience for me as well. So I think we're in good stead.
I'll have to make it as intense as possible.
Yeah.
Just stare you down. Every single question is I lock you.
That's fine. I'll lock it back and
we'll hold this gaze, even though nobody can see this.
Yeah. But no, I just try and keep myself busy. But I'm kind of fiction mad.
That's crazy. I mean, I think thinking back to like when we met, which was like 6. It's got to be like 8 years ago now.
What, 2017? Yeah, it would have been second year of university, so 2011. Yeah,
that's a long time ago.
Yeah.
And I had no idea you were into writing.
I wasn't. Well, don't get me wrong, I was, but it was one of those things that when I was younger, I really was interested in it. I've always read books, and I was always a massive fantasy fan. And it's only the last 6 years I kind of started going more horror. And it was actually Christmas 2014. I was given a Secret Santa present from a girl that I worked with, which was a copy of Stephen King's Everything's Eventual. Have you read it?
No.
No, it's basically a book of about 14 or so short stories.
Right.
And before then, I'd only ever read novels. It was kind of your generic Harry Potters. It was your Lord of the Rings. It was basically everything around Lord of the Rings. A couple of Simon Koenig. So it wasn't kind of genre specific.
Would you hate me if I tell you I've never read all the Harry Potters?
No.
Good. I feel judged by people.
No, I judge you if you criticise them without having read them. I know a few people that do that.
I've read the first 3.
Yeah.
And that's about it.
Have you seen the films?
Yes.
Yeah.
I've seen the films due
Now I hate you.
due to other people. But yeah, I've read the first 3. I started the 4th one, and I couldn't get past the first chapter.
Really?
Yeah. It just I started reading it, and I don't know if it was just because I was quite young, but I was so bored to tears by that first chapter that I just put it down. And
I'm trying to remember the first chapter.
It's the one that takes place at it's not at Hogwarts. It's kind of outside. 'Cause it's the Goblet of Fire, isn't it?
Yeah.
and it's like this prelude story.
Oh, it's the Voldemort thing.
Yeah, and it just seemed completely out of context for me.
Yeah.
And I just gave up. I was like, I'm done with this.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, I read a book recently which is kind of under the same principle, where the first book was fantastic and you follow 3 characters through it. It's called The Painted Man.
Mm-hmm.
And the sequel I was really excited to read because I was like, this first one was awesome. But the sequel, the first half of the book, and it's not a small book, it's like 600 pages. The first half of the book is just a character they've introduced and his story up until the point that you were at previously. And I was a bit like, it's a bit excessive.
That is a little bit much.
Yeah, it was kind of
like
a lot.
half your book.
Yeah. But no, I read this book of short stories and then that kind of turned on a flame, and I just thought I'd start trying to write shorts because I was an editor for 2 years for my own company, and a proofreader, and had a bit of time between projects. So I was like, I'll just write some stuff, and it kind of just sparked from there.
That's cool. I found that interesting because that's kind of what I wanted to talk about today. Is this whole idea that, I mean, I'm not a writer. I don't see myself as a writer. But
I can argue against that.
Well, this is kind of the thing. Like, but at the same time, I'm writing prolifically right now. I'm not like at Stephen King levels of a book in an afternoon, but
yeah,
I'm writing a fair amount, and it's kind of like I use it as just like another medium, as like the same as painting or like photography or anything like that. I'm using it as kind of just like a cathartic activity,
yeah.
And even though I'm writing fiction, like I'm still doing kind of extra bits like poetry and stuff like that, which I'd say is more expressive, but I'm writing fiction as a form of catharsis, and I wondered if that is something kind of you see or what you do within your work.
I mean, I did. That was kind of how I got into it. So I kind of got into the mindset of I just want to write something. It's kind of been in the back of my head for years and years, but pushed away by so many things. And I just thought, you know what, I'll give it a go. And my first short story, or I'd say my first proper short story that I actually took seriously, was a kind of form of cathartism. It was a story about a firefighter that gets vertigo and basically is being told that he can't work on the force anymore, which is literally the story of my grandfather. He kind of tells it in different ways all the time, but I kind of took that as a starting point, and there was a competition that I thought, if I'm going to write, I want to write for something, but I want to express myself. And it was around the time I was kind of working out what genre I'd fit into, what I would write best. And then my first novella, which I released for Halloween 2015, that was fully cathartic. That was 16,000 words of... I don't even know where the idea came from. It was set in the Old West, and it was about a demon that appears in a bar and just attacks people. And it was one of those things that I was just writing it for the hell of it. It was, why not? I wanted to prove to myself I could finish something. I wanted to experiment with the horror genre. I just found I really enjoyed it. And reading back at it now, there are certain bits where I'd completely do the whole thing differently, but there are certain bits where I look back and just go, you were just killing people for the heck of it, weren't you? It was just do it. I think
it's quite strange in a way. I mean, if you don't mind me saying, I don't look at you and think horror.
No.
I just don't. Like, it's like I've got another friend who is so into political literature and like maritime literature.
Okay.
And you look at him and you think, nope, you kind of just look like an accountant.
Yeah, I think there's a preconceived look of how people should be. And I mean, to be fair, you look at people like Stephen King and you go, he looks a bit creepy.
He does look a bit creepy.
People like...
He does look like the kind of person who would watch you from a window on a street. And you'd be driving past and thinking, I don't like that guy. I don't know why I don't like that guy, but I don't like that guy. Yeah.
What's in his head? You wouldn't want to know what's in his head. But then people like Dean Koontz as well, I think, look a bit creepy. But then Darren Shan, who wrote the Vampire Blood trilogy and loads of other sort of kids horror books. I went to a Comic-Con last year and he was actually there, and he's actually not that creepy looking. And I think there is a preconceived thing that horror writers should look grungy, look emo. But no,
I don't know. I feel like
maybe that's how I see them.
Maybe because we feel like they embody their characters.
Yeah, you feel like they've got to be vampiric.
I mean, like you kind of look at Neil Gaiman and you think, yeah, you look like your characters. Like I imagine you your characters to look like you a lot, leather coats and long hair and that kind of thing.
Yeah, but I tell people that write horror and I get the same reaction. And even my partner always makes a point of, it scares me, the stuff that you write, because I'm not that person.
Yeah. I think it works both ways, though. I mean, in a way, I think sometimes people look at me and they preconceive the type of things I'd be into. I mean, obviously, in a sense, I dressed like I did when I was 16 because of the music tastes I had at the time, which was all heavy and metal and horror and all this kind of stuff. And I've never grown out of that. So it's kind of, the way I dress now is a mix of grunge and metal. But people who meet me, I tend to think that they think that that's all I'm into.
Yeah.
And then at the same time, I'm like, well, no, I also read like a shit ton of classic literature.
Yeah.
And find my days, look, I like gardening. Gardening's really therapeutic, I find.
Yeah.
And it's people are just like, what? I don't know that. I don't understand that.
No, you find that of everyone, don't you? People just do judge a book by its cover.
Yeah.
But no, I wouldn't have you down as a gardener.
No.
No.
I can knit as well.
To be fair, the knitting thing I knew.
Right.
I think you told me about the knitting thing before.
Right.
How long have you been doing it for?
I don't know. I could knit I don't do it often. It's just something. It's like I know how to cross stitch,
Just
but
when
it's not something which kind of.
me.
It's like if I got the materials around, I can do a little bit of that. Make
Just
a
if I
little cozy.
have 2 needles and
Yeah.
a string of yarn.
Same with cooking. You just learn to do it, and then you only do it when you need to do it.
Yeah. I did a dot to dot this week.
A dot to dot.
Yeah, my a friend for Christmas bought me a big book of Tolkien dot to dot, and it's like 200 dots.
Yeah.
Surprisingly therapeutic, because I found since I have started doing all the writing stuff, I've definitely, and I can say this without a doubt, gained a bit of an addiction and become a bit of a workaholic. In the evenings when my son's gone to bed, I'll sit next to my partner and just work on my laptop and just do extra stuff. In the mornings, at lunch, whatever. And I was kind of at the point this week where I was like, I need to take a break, but I don't know what to do. And I saw this book and I just went, I'm going to draw some lines on some paper and match some dots, and did that for about an hour.
See, I don't know. I can't understand that in a way. I mean, it's like when you see those adult colouring books around.
Yeah.
I sit there and I have literally no idea who would purchase this.
No, my partner's got loads of them.
I could not see myself sitting down and colouring that in. And yet I sit and draw for like 3 hours.
Yeah. I guess it depends what you're going for. It's a good way to... Because that's what they're for, isn't it? It's de-stressing. Yeah. So for the dot to dot for me was... I don't really remember doing it. I've now just got a picture of a swan and some elves. But it was... but when I came out of it, my head relaxed a bit because I'm constantly thinking of the next thing. I'm constantly looking at... I mean, I've got... not to sound too self-effacing, but I have like work and my son and then the writing stuff as well. I'm juggling so many plates at the minute that sometimes it's nice to put them down and just have a breather.
Nothing at all.
Yeah.
In a way. Yeah. I could see that. I don't know. I think maybe I'm just... If I do that, I always feel like I've wasted time.
That's the problem.
That is a constant problem.
Yeah.
With writing. Well, with anything, really.
Yeah, I think it's a slow build. So, I mean, in the beginning of my writing, I'd sort of maybe do about 300 words a week and be happy. Lately, in the last... I mean, to be fair, I'm working on a book at the minute and I'm a little bit... Because I co-write with good friend Luke Condor. We have kind of like soft deadlines, so we say we're aiming to get things finished at this day, and I'm a little bit behind on this one. But the last week or so I've been doing about 3,000 words a day. And that doesn't leave a whole lot of brain room. So when it comes to a friend saying, oh, let's go for a coffee, I mean, not this, but when a friend says, oh, let's go for a coffee.
The inner resentment of being asked on a podcast coming gradually.
let's go and catch up with people. It's there is a part in my head where I just go, yeah, but I've got this to do and I could be doing this, when sometimes you do have to learn when to say no. You need to live your life.
You need
as well.
to take that break.
Yeah, it's tough, but it's finding that balance.
Yeah, I think I don't know. For me, creation has always been something which I do to relax. The idea of producing something is very relaxing. So it's like I tend to it even when I'm in moments of like, oh, I need to be sat doing nothing. It's like, yeah, I need to be sat doing nothing. But at the end of it, I need to have something in front of me which went, yeah, I did that. Yeah. It's why, I mean, I used to play so many games, but now I just can't. Because I'm just kind of sat there going, what do I get at the end of it?
It's nice to find someone that shares that.
Yeah.
Because I was the same. I remember when Skyrim came out it was 2011, right? The 11/11 was its release date. And I spent 4 or 5 days between lectures, between work, just playing that solidly. And I look back at that now and think, you could have been writing, you could have been starting your journey early, you could have been doing this. But that's one of the problems that I find with... So I'm writing a novel at the minute, which is the first book in what's going to be, at the minute, plans to be a 3-book series. And it's coming out about 90,000 words. And you were saying then about you like to have something done at the end of it. You don't get that in a novel. It's you work for. So I started editing it because it's like there's a third draft, and I started editing on the 3rd of January, and we are now on the 20th of February, and every day has been just chipping away at that rock, and you get to a point where you're just like, I need it done. I need something.
You want to
finished.
put it down and just walk away from it,
So
but you can't do that.
No, and I'm at that end point. I'm like, I don't want to rush the ending because then it ruins the whole lot. But at the same time, I just want it fucking finished.
Okay, I kind of get that. I mean, I do that with like scripts. I'm terrible for writing scripts out of order. Like, because you kind of like, you start your script and you think, oh, I should probably plan the whole story, right? I should sit down and go, this happens in Act 1. This will like stack up. Here's the finale, and that's how you should plan it, like writing your script. But I don't do that. No. I write an introduction because I'm amazing at writing introductions. Because opening scenes are the easiest thing to write in the world.
That's where all your passion is. That's where the idea stems from.
I'm flooding this in. This is great.
Like,
and then
let's just do this.
You get onto scene 2, and then you think, but I really want to write that interrogation scene from 5 chapters down the line. So then I just write that scene.
Yeah.
And then I put it to the side. And I never go back to chapter 3. And then it just becomes this fragment of nothing, which is not even attached to the introduction because it doesn't hold any of the same context.
But there is something.
Oh, yeah.
Something.
I've got something there. I just need to figure out the middle.
Yeah. See, that's one of the reasons I found... I didn't even find a writing partner. It just kind of happened. But most of the stuff I work on now is with Luke Condor. And it's a case of... when I was originally... So... I started taking my writing seriously. I wrote a couple of shorts, I did my novella, and then I got on board with Hawk and Cleaver and kind of helped birth that and get things rolling. But I got to a point where I was like, I want my next project, one, to be good, and one, to be the start of something that will make some money, because at the end of the day, that's the whole point of running a business and getting this stuff going. Yeah. And I want to be full-time in the future. And I had about 3 or 4 different ideas, and I'd started a couple, I'd had ideas for a few. But you get to a point where you suddenly go, this is the idea, and this is what you have to stick to, and this is all you're going to write until it's done, which I think is one of the biggest struggles that any writer can kind of face is, like you say, you'll start on a couple of chapters, or I've got 3 or 4 stories that I've got about 20,000 words in, and then went, ooh, piece of candy, and just and jumped across. But when I started writing with Luke, it was a case of, okay, now I'm partly responsible for someone else's success. Yeah. And the book we recently released, They Rot, was our first attempt at writing a book that was partially written, well, quite a lot written to market. So it was short enough that we could write it quickly. It was a fast-paced thriller. It's a post-apocalyptic book, which is quite a big genre at the minute. And it was a case of, I need that first draft done by then so I can do what I need to do. Otherwise, this doesn't work. So it's good to push along. But I still do struggle with idea vomit now. I've got 4 or 5 things that I'm desperate to get to that I'm just not letting myself.
I'm terrible for that. I've got right now I think I've got 9 projects on the go, and it's awful. Yeah. Like I think it was not this weekend, just gone, the one before that. I spent the Sunday on my own doing things, and I was determined to do things throughout the entire day. So I set up my day and I said, right, I'm going to get up and I'm going to start on that project. And then throughout the day, I piggybacked from project to project to procrastinate productively. So I'd start one thing, I'd be drawing, and thinking, okay, I can draw this. And then, I'll stop that for a bit. Well, if I can write something now, so I write something. And
doing something.
It was 9 projects throughout the day.
Yeah.
And that's terrible. Yeah. You'll never get anything finished doing it that way. And I'm awful for it. I mean, it's like that. It's the whole catharsis thing, because the way I create is usually quite emotive in some sense. That sitting down and going, right, I need something which is marketable. I need something which I can make money from or people will buy. It terrifies me.
It's difficult.
It's awful.
But why does it terrify you? Is it the restriction on, kind of running with your muse, or is it... I mean, there was a fear when I started where I was like, I'm writing something to market. Yeah. If it flops, I failed.
See, I don't think that terrifies me. I think what kind of gets to me is I always feel that if I've sold something, I've cheapened what I created.
Yeah.
There's this really pretentious part of me, which is like sits at the back of my head with like a glass of port and some cigars.
Yeah.
And sits and goes,
Plate
what
of
are you
cheese.
doing with your life? And you kind of like sat there and going, right, so even if I draw something, I could create a poster and I like it and it's something which I've been aiming to sell because I think, that'll work great. As soon as it sells, I'm thinking, this isn't art anymore.
Yeah.
This is just corporate bullshit.
Ah.
And my brain just goes, yeah, you shouldn't be doing this. You should stop doing this. Do something really, really shit that no one will buy. Just like,
And then at least I've got my soul.
yeah, at least I've kept my soul. I've created my creative edge running down. But at the same time, I'm thinking, I really want to get paid for creating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, this is our battle. So the point, or one of the main aims of Hawk and Cleaver in a minute, is we're writing a lot this year. Like, our plan is to have quite a few books between. There are 4 writers within Hawk and Cleaver, and we want to make enough stuff that we can start building income for all of us. So that in the long run, we can get to a point where we stop and go, right, we're going to write the stuff we want to write. Which is hard. Like, it's really difficult to commit to that idea. And it's when I first originally met the other 3 guys from Hawk and Cleaver, it was very much a case of it just felt right. Like, I'd not had that before. I've like done projects with people and I've looked at things and I've never trusted myself to let go or hand over the reins of a project. But because it's for a bigger ship that we're trying to bring up, it's very much like it's contributing in every way. We're all doing our bit. But I mean, I've actually got a friend who kind of follows your line of thinking, where a very prolific poet, he'll write a minimum of a poem a day, and he brags about this notepad he's got full of them. And to give him his credit, he's absolutely fantastic, and he's dotting around Lincoln, but I won't name him. And his he brought out a poetry book about a year ago, and he was very eager to hand it to another friend who was able to push it a bit more for him because he's not very computer literate. And the minute he sold 5 copies, he wanted to unpublish it. He was like, no, I don't. Like, people were like, oh, I've got your book, and he was just like, give it back. It's mine now. You devaluing
you
my
shouldn't
stuff.
have that. That's something I made.
Yeah.
How can you do that?
Which I get, and I guess it depends at the end of the day what you're writing for, what you're creating for, what your process is, and what you want out of it.
Yeah, I think, I don't know, maybe in that sense, if I do ever write a book, I should just put it in libraries.
Yeah.
Only in libraries. Never sell a single copy.
Yeah.
Just put it in libraries.
Let 70-year-old biddies
Force people go to libraries. you never own the book. You're just renting them.
Yeah. Or you can just throw random chapters online in different forums.
That's one way to go.
And then see if
100
years down the line people connect it.
I should just print it out, make paper airplanes.
Yeah.
And just fling them from my car every once in a while. And then you've got to piece it together.
That
And if you do piece it
puzzle,
together, I will just come steal the manuscript.
Damn it.
Because they never can anyone own the
Sneak your
whole story.
address into different sections.
I'm terrible for that as well. And in the sense of, you explain an idea to someone.
Oh, no.
You come along and you think, okay, so I've got this script, or I've got this TV show, or I've got this book, and you think, cool. I used to take this to someone like a publisher and go, you should publish this book. I never want to explain the full story, because within the stories I do, I never want to tell everyone the whole thing. I just constantly want to put red herrings everywhere. So the idea of going and explaining to someone the entire thing all the way through and them knowing the complete story
defeats the point.
Yeah, it's like, you can't do that. It's like, well, we need to know that to know if it's publishable. It's like, yeah, but you're not meant to know that. You're meant to read the book.
Yeah, read it, damn it, read it.
So I shouldn't have to sit and explain this to you.
No, I tried writing the book proposal about a year and a bit ago, and I was kind of just, 2 years ago. And I was the same. It comes to, okay, outline your book. And I was like, this, and then, but then maybe this, and you're like, no, you have to tell them a story. It's like, but you because you haven't yet released it into the world, you want to hold it back anyway and not tell the full thing. And it's really difficult just kind of going, this happens, done. But I'm the same when it comes to just telling people, so people find out that you write and then say, oh, what's your book around? And you've written like thousands of words of, oh, this is awesome, and this is like a lovely countryside, and then this happens, and then you just go, it's about a guy, a dog in Kent, post-apocalypse. And that's kind of it. But I've also found it's a case of your audience. So someone who, so quite well. So I think I could explain my book to you more eloquently than I explained it to my nan last week.
Oh yeah, definitely.
What's your book around? The World's Gone to Hell.
Yeah.
It's a survival book.
Yeah.
About a guy in Kent.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Then she just trots on and makes a cup of tea.
I can understand that. I mean, I've given up trying to explain art to my dad. Just trying to explain why we do things or why you would want to do things. He wants to understand, but at the same time, he won't understand because it's just not there.
Yeah,
it's just not quite there yet. I mean, it's like when you draw things, and I mean, when I was a kid, I used to draw like really violent things. Like if you saw the drawings, you'd be worried.
Okay.
If these were your kid, my parents were worried.
It's like a Rorschach test. It's a knife.
Yeah, kind of just like I drew loads of knives, and I always added blood to things, and I did it because I thought it was cool. There was nothing susceptible behind it. It was just kind of there. And then my gran saw, and she was like, "Why do you add blood to everything?" And I was like, "I don't know. I just do." It's like you never really want to have to explain yourself. You just want someone to accept that and go, "Yeah, that's
it's like when your mother goes, "Is there swearing in your book?" And you just go, "Yes, get over it." But I know loads of people that struggle with that. Showing or just putting it out to the world. That's why people use pseudonyms and pen names just to avoid that conflict. Like I know people that write erotica they can't admit that to their parents, understandably. But could you, if my son came to me in like 16 years' time and went, "Dad, I've written a book," and I go, "Oh, really cool. It's like an erotica." The last thing I want to do is read my son's version of erotica. Do you know what I mean? That would be weird.
It would, but in some some dark part of me would want to read that.
I must understand kids these days.
That's large. I just kind of think.
Oh, it's a pop-up book.
I don't think you should ever like as much as you like being afraid of having to explain to someone. I don't think you should ever be afraid to put something out there.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Like you should always just kind of ignore every. I mean, it's something I talked about in another thing of the amount of people who I know who feel they can only write one genre or draw one genre, and they feel typecast. And if they did anything outside of that, they would lose audience.
Yeah.
And like that's terrifying. I would never want to be in that situation where I feel like I couldn't produce something and put it out into the world because this is what's expected of me. I'd probably do that more often because of it. Yeah. Because I'd be like, well, no, I'm not going to sit and be in that little line.
Yeah.
So in a way, success kind of worries me in that sense because if you did get published and you went to a publisher and they say, no, you have to toe this line.
Yeah.
You have to be down this line. It's like kind of like when you see boy bands and they go, no, you can't have a girlfriend because you have to be solo. You have to be available for the fans. And you're like, well, why would you even want to put yourself in that situation? Because they're paying you. Because they came along with a bag of money and just threw it at you and you went, yeah, you know what, I'm fed up with being broke.
Sign it away, done. I'm rich, but God, I'm lonely.
Yeah.
No, that's one of the reasons that I've gone for indie publishing, to be fair, and it's one of the things that I can't think of a case in which I'd want to be traditionally published anymore unless it was completely under my terms, and you don't often get that when you start out. So when I started, I bought the Writers and Artists Yearbook, which has lists of all publishers and contests and things that you can get involved in for trying to put your stuff out there. And I wrote a couple of applications, but then the minute I self-published Sins of Smoke and then got involved with the Hawk and Cleaver guys, I straight away saw this light where I was like, it's a harder road, but at least I will be able to do the things that I want to do and not be bound by other people's deadlines, other people's ideas of what I should do, and just go from that. I can't imagine now. I mean, maybe, I don't know, years down the line I've got a book and I might put some of it out for traditional just to generate more of an audience, but not unless it was on my terms and went from that.
Yeah. I think maybe, I don't know, in a way, because I got thinking about kind of popular publishers now and like popular authors, and I find there is this gap between 40 and up and their 20s of authors in the middle, and I think it's because our generation is doing that, doing more independent publishing, so big publishers are going for younger people who haven't realised it yet.
Get them out the gates.
Yeah. It's kind of like when you see musicians, like it's very rare someone gets picked up when they're like 25 to 30. You've either made it or you're going to make it when you're about 30.
Yeah.
So they go for 19-year-olds because like, oh, you're in school, so we can pull you out of school and we can give you all this money and we can give you a record deal. You can be famous, and that's what you want, right?
Yeah.
So that's clearly your end point game. If you're an artist, it's like it's kind of terrifying in that sense.
It's like kiddie snatching.
It is. It's corporate child snatching, except they don't roll up in a large van with a hook nose. And maybe they do. I hope they do.
that'll be...
If I saw a large van outside my house with a guy with a hook nose rolling out in a net, I'd be worried.
Just carefully lock the door, back away, draw the curtains. Yeah. No, I read or heard a story, I can't remember, recently about an independent publisher who managed to get a traditional publishing deal. But the funny part about this story was that once they got the traditional publishing deal, and obviously normally what that entails is people take your script, they edit it, they proofread it, they market it, they do everything for you. That's what they're supposed to do. They don't always. But apparently this company just said to him, "You've already got quite a big audience. Do you want to just use those?" And this guy was like, "Are you kidding me? Like, what am I getting from you if you're not giving me
what
anything?"
do I pay you for?
But independent authors are getting to a point where they have these massive lists, and actually some of them by themselves are a lot better than smaller publishing companies at generating an audience, keeping them on and keeping them interested, because you can be more personal. I think nowadays, in general, people are responding more to personality than they are to names. So I mean, unless you are huge like Bloomsbury or Penguin or the big five, people are looking for people they can relate to, people that are coming out with stuff regularly. It's why people donate to people on Patreon to support them, even though they don't really look into the rewards. It's why people follow people's newsletters and stick around with them. It's because people want to identify with the person. And there's something rewarding in seeing someone grow. So if you can say that I was the first 50 on this person's list and now they've got 6,000 people behind them, there's something in that where you're just like, I got there first.
Yeah, I've got that with a couple of YouTubers who, back when I was doing YouTube regularly, they were people I regularly spoke to, and now they're huge. They're massive people, and I've still got them on Facebook, and it's like you see them like repeating their stuff and going, "Oh yeah, I'm doing this," and you're thinking that's pretty cool. It's that little connection. And I don't know. I think it's nice to see. It's nice to see kind of like a different future. Of how creation could go.
And there's definitely more of a kinship, I think, where, like you say, you keep friends with these people, and there's always going to be some jealousy in the community, but you're not jealous of these people per se. I mean, maybe as a part of you, it's like, I could do that, and I know a few people that have done some stuff where I'm just like, I wish I could have stuck with things a bit more. But 9 times out of 10, you tend to find that people congratulate each other's success, and the attitude towards it is quite nice. I've not come across too many people that are vicious or sort of disrespectful with it. Most people tend to be, "Oh, well done," give you a pat on the back and just raise you up.
I think that's the only way you can be, really. Is never to.
Otherwise, it's toxic.
It's that thing of people comparing themselves to other people. If you can't do it, it's like we can look right now and there'll be 500 authors who are younger, more attractive, better teeth. And you kind of sit there and think, "Wow, shit, why aren't I that?" And then you realise, oh wait, because we didn't have the same life. It's that opportunity. It's that thing. I can't remember who said online of. I think it's from Bo Burnham, and he's saying how you get kind of Taylor Swift, and that she's one in a million. Like she's one thing in a million. And you can't sit there and her telling you to go follow your dreams is insignificant.
Isn't he, he's talking? Is it the Jimmy Fallon show or something?
Something like that. And it's
no,
just,
I appreciate
keep trying.
It's like, just work your dreams. No, I was lucky and I'm a straight white male.
It's purely down to luck. It's luck and perseverance though. There's got to be some level of perseverance.
I think a lot of people that tend to be quite bitter are people that did give up and people that didn't follow it. And my ethos at the minute is, as long as there's still growth, I'm still doing something right. So with Hawk and Cleaver, our social media numbers are still going up, our sales are increasing all the time. Not huge numbers, but enough that it feels worth it, and we know that we're kind of doing some stuff right. But as long as you're moving forwards and know what you're going for, I think that's helpful. And it's not for everyone. Not everyone will have that thick skin, that tolerance to be able to push. To be fair, I don't know where it came from for me, because even a year ago, it was a case of, all right, 20 minutes here. Oh, I've not written enough. Oh, I'm so crap. La la la. But now, like I say, I make a point of getting up early. I've gotten into the habit of doing these things and rolling on. I'm tired all the time. But people can change, but it's not for everyone to pursue.
I think that's a nice sentiment though. If you're progressing, you're doing something.
Oh hell yeah.
You've got to keep moving forward. I think that's a nice point to end on as well.
I think, yeah.
I like that.
Right, we'll leave it there.
Well, yeah. Well, thank you for coming and chatting to me, Dan.
No, thank you for having me. It's flown by.
Obviously. Send me links and stuff and we'll plug your products because that's what we do.
Nice.
But yeah, thank you very much and Dan Willcocks, everybody.
Cheers.